The map starts simple but intriguing. The starting area is a bit on the generic side of things when it comes to looks, but not every map has to be the most eye-catching. Maps can look generic as long as the gameplay feels natural around it. I recommend going for the Car 98K here, as you need to grind points here for the first 3 rounds to really make a chance at surviving until the end of the map. Then, after the first couple of rounds or so, you continue on with the next area with a Gewere 43 on the wall. At this point, I recommend you buying it as well, as it will take a while before we can get something better than this that also grinds points at a reasonable rate. The room you're in at this rate doesn't really have a lot of room to stay safe in at one spot. There is this second room that leads to an M1 carbine and a bouncy Betty on the wall, but in my opinion, the zombie spawns are just not set up in a very good way that makes it capable of surviving for a very long time. This is why I stayed in the starting room for so long, as staying there is safe and surviving there up until round 3 at least most likely grants you enough points to open up the next area right away. This area is much easier to survive in. A long hallway where zombies can only really reach you from approaching you from the front, and I guess maybe sometimes they get from the window, but that window isn't really, when I played it, very crowded, so it shouldn't really become an issue. At this point though, there are 2 doors you can buy, one being 750 points and the other one being 2000. The 750 point door leads you to a perk machine, but as it's a Shinonuma style map, the perk machines you'll be getting at random. So it could potentially be that you're spending 750 points on a door that could lead to a perk machine that would be 50% chance of being double tap or quick revive, which are just perks you really don't need, especially when you're playing solo. And really, like in the other scenario where you do get a good perk you need, that's also not healthy to play for either. Like you would be there with the Gewere 43 for like 3 to 4 more rounds or so, or with the trench gun, which just doesn't grind enough points. And when you eventually do have the perk, it is just getting too high of a round to survive very reliably, I guess, and then you still need to buy a 2000 point door after that. So what I opt for you to do instead is for you to go to the 2000 point door first, as it leads to a much bigger room with much more room to maneuver around, good enough to even train, which is always a better thing to have rather than a camp spot. But on top of that, you also gain the access to the Thompson, which ultimately just increases your chances for survival. And really, once you've done all of that, you can always go back to the 750 point door to just check what perk you would get and just act accordingly from there. And with that in mind, after you've opened the 2000 point door, there is also another 750 point door there. So like really, you give yourself double chances to get the perks that you want before you risk your survival for that. Then, after you have opened and acted accordingly to the perk machines, it is time to grind for points there and survive in the rather storage looking area. It is likely that you will stumble upon a dog run once you're in this room, and at this point, if that's gonna happen, the corner I'm in this gameplay footage right now should easily be able to make you anticipate on the dogs accordingly to survive the round. Then the next goal for you should be to get to the 2000 point door to move on to the next area. Opening this door brings you to the flogger, which is pretty cool, I guess, although personally I don't really use a lot of traps, so that doesn't really do too much for me. Then after that, I'm not gonna lie, this is where the map starts losing its charm a little bit for me. I don't know if that's just me, but this room just feels like a repeat of the first room to me. And yeah, I don't know, there is a mystery box over here, so I guess there is some purpose in getting to this room, and I guess there is another 750 point door which will let you unlock another perk in case you still don't have Jug and Speed Cola at first. But other than that, this room just shows no incentive for staying there. It really just is there to get the supplies you need, and there's not really much more to it. And the truth of the matter is, it just doesn't get a lot better. There is one more 2000 point door, and in my opinion, it is just the most uninspired room in this map. It is just a hallway with another entry point to the final perk machine. Not much more to it than that, to be honest. It's not even that good of a place to stay, to be honest. The zombies just have way too many entry points to get into your room, thus leaving you very vulnerable here. It's like the map maker meant to like finish the map with the previous room, and then he was like, oh shit, I only have 3 perk spawns, I need to make another one. Okay, here's a nice small little hallway, and then we'll just put another perk in there. There's no point. Like, just spawn or get that perk machine in the previous room, you know? It just doesn't work. So yeah, that's kind of all there really is to this map. I've even tried to train there for 1 round on round 12 to prove the point that, well, it's just not a very good place to train there. And yeah, it basically just proved to be my downfall. But okay, with all of that in mind, I guess, it's at least a map where there is fun to be had in the first couple of rounds, and how tight the gameplay is there. It is just that it becomes real stale, real fast, and really whether that's a good enough thing for you is something you have to decide for yourself. So if you want to check out this map, a link will be down in the description. And with that in mind, if you like what you saw, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. If you want more, make sure to subscribe. And as always, I will talk to you guys later.